Lower your expectations.
Speaking of things that Jews aren't allowed to do, I think we need more Jews in pro wrestling. I'm Jewish, and if I was going to be a wrestler, I'd try to incorporate as much of my Judaism into my character as possible. My name would be something super traditional, like the He-Brawler, or Circumsexy. My finishing move would be the Dreidel Drop. I'd even have like a sexy black-haired chick from Long Island named Esther escort me to the ring. And while I'm wrestling, she could just be complaining the whole time about how I'm not a doctor or a lawyer.
Okay, ladies, look, I know I look like I'm a guy who eats at Hooters regularly, and I do. But I'm also very pro-feminism. I mostly watch lesbian porn. I'm a big fan of female ultimate fighting. And I think it's awesome that you can all vote. Now, with that being said, could you please do me a huge favor and stop shaving the sides of your head? It doesn't signal to us that you're cool. It signals to us that you ran out of Zoloft.
So, my friends and I have this tradition of going to the strip club on Valentine's Day because that's when we think the strippers are at their most emotionally vulnerable. But after thinking about it some and doing some serious soul searching on the topic, it turns out that we were in the wrong. Strippers are really at their lowest on Father's Day. Are you guys pro-stripper? Is that what it is?
A lot of guys fantasize about having sex with two different women at once, but to me, I think a threesome looks like a lot of work. I mean, basically you're spending twice the amount of effort for pretty much the same result. But instead of just one woman harshly criticizing me to the verge of tears, there would be another one just sitting there agreeing with it all the time. Can we please stop making pornography in high definition? I keep seeing C-section scars, and bullet wounds, and sorrow. And it's really starting to distract my focus from the subtle nuances of the film's cinematography. Personally, I think porn is so overexposed these days that I can't really get into it unless it has some kind of engaging story. Two random chicks with a throbbing dildo doesn't really do it for me. But if one of the girls is getting a Turkish car wash by two Armenian guys in order to blackmail a corrupt senator into moving her mom further up the waiting list for a new kidney, then it's game on. I'd actually like to get rid of all segregation in pornography once and for all. I think it's really awful when an African-American actress stars in a porno and the names are always something really tacky like Black Ass Addiction 4. Why can't it just be like Regular Ass Addiction 4? Meanwhile, when a white woman stars, the names are always really classy, like Pile Driving Miss Daisy. Or High Society Cum Dumpster 6. I actually hate watching porn and recognizing the house they're filming in from some party in the valley I went to 6 months ago. Immediately, the first thing I think is, hey, why the fuck wasn't I invited over when this was going on?
I actually dated a girl with one hand once, which was a lot harder than it looks. On our third date, I decided to take her to the producers, which was a terrible idea because I really didn't take into account the amount of clapping that goes on in musicals. So at first I tried to overcompensate and clap really loud because she just couldn't clap. But then after a while I looked over what her version of clapping was, which was like a heroin addict getting ready to shoot up, you know. So in my infinite wisdom I decided to do the same thing, you know, show of solidarity. Needless to say, it didn't work out, which I was okay with because I was sick of feeling guilty every time I played video games around her.
So, growing up, every girl I ever dated thought my dad was hot, like Tom Selleck hot, which sucked because after they met him, they'd ask me all sorts of weird questions like, are you sure you're not adopted? Why aren't you better looking? Is your mom super ugly? The worst were the ones that stuck around because they thought I'd end up looking like my dad overnight, and then want me to apologize to them every day when it didn't happen. Like I'm some sort of underperforming mutual bond. Or Nev Campbell. A lot of Nev Campbell fans here. They'd always be like, oh my God, how come you don't look like your dad yet? Are you even trying? Usually my response to that would be, well, yes, but it would probably happen faster if you played with my balls more often.
Anyone out there like horror movies? Horror movies really freak me out these days, which is why when I take a girl to go see one, I have to go the day before by myself so I'll know when all the scary parts are.
Halloween is my favorite holiday, and apparently some of yours, because it's the one time of year girls instinctually dress up as slutty as possible. However, sometimes the costumes just don't work. For example, sexy cop. Yes, that works. Sexy Klansman. No. Sexy skeleton. Yes, that works. Sexy cold sore. No. Sexy Wonder Woman. Yes, that definitely works. Sexy Jared from Subway. No.
So a little bit about me. I'm not overweight. I just have really heavy organs, like meaty kidneys or a husky coccyx. It sucks because like when I go to the bars, I can't really show it off. It's, hey girl, ever had a man with a huge pancreas before?
I'd be open to getting married someday, but only for the gifts. I like the idea of people showering me with kitchen appliances to commemorate the exact moment I ruined some woman's life. I'd actually never get married for love because the last thing I want to do to someone I adore is force her to live with me for the rest of her life. To me, marriage is something you have to live with every day, like a choking fetish. At first, it's probably kind of awesome, but after a while, it gets old and leaves a permanent scar.
I'm drug-free, but for the wrong reasons. I don't use cocaine, not because it's illegal or not awesome, but because most coke is snorted off a mirror, and I don't want to have to look at the shame on my face while I'm doing it. There's just this moment before you do a line where you look at yourself in that mirror and you think, man, I can't believe I'm here right now. I used to play Little League.
Otherwise, I don't do mushrooms purely because I hate vegetables. I don't do heroin either because it's too complicated. I don't want to have to go to WikiHow to learn how to use it. There's just too many different components, like a lighter, and a spoon, and a dirty mattress. Also, I have 2 cornea transplants. But the weird part about having cornea transplants is that I think I'm starting to take on the traits of my eye donor, and I have no idea who that is. Right now, I'm under the impression that my donor was a former gymnastics coach because since the surgery, I've been able to tell the difference between a front aerial triple pike and a front aerial triple tuck layout. You guys are laughing, but when you know the difference, it's actually kind of beautiful. I don't have an iPhone, which means I have a lot of free time. In that free time, I like to come up with acronyms for things I don't like. For example, vegetable. Vile environmentalist gardeners exporting tasteless agriculture by landscaping earth. Syphilis. So your penis has infectious lesions in sunlight. Kardashian. Keeping America retarded despite appearing seemingly honorable in acquiring notoriety. My dad recently asked me if I was a highly functioning autistic. At least he said highly functioning. I think we need more danger in reality television. For example, instead of Dancing with the Stars, we could just have Dancing with SARS. Could have 8 D-list celebrities and Lorenzo Lamas injected with the SARS virus. And whoever survives 10 weeks of pancreas failure and ballroom dancing gets their own VH1 reality TV show and The Antidote.
I like the fact that our culture uses words like sick or stupid or disgusting to describe when something good happens. I'm actually looking forward to the next step in this verbal evolution when we describe things that are awesome using pregnancy terms. Hey man, did you see Iron Man 3? Oh yeah, had me lactating the whole time. I mean, it was really crowning. It was just so third trimester. And that action sequence at the end, oh, my water broke.
I wish people would come up with more innovative ways to commit suicide. Why not? I'm against suicide. But when I kill myself, I'm gonna do it in the most awesome way possible. I want the cop to come in on my corpse and be like, damn, this guy doused himself in liquid nitrogen and programmed a Roomba to shatter his body. I don't understand how all these rappers are instantly millionaires. I mean, just from the law of averages, there's got to be like 1 or 2 rappers that are just doing okay. Dropping rhymes about living on a modest budget, eating at Applebee's once a week. Instead of going to the strip club and making it rain, maybe they make it partly cloudy. I just think at the end of the day, it's easier to rap about champagne and Escalades than it is a box of wine and a used Toyota Tercel. I mean, it's hard to come up with a word that rhymes with reverse mortgage. I think when celebrities get arrested, we should just lock them in a room and force them to watch their crappiest movie on a 24-hour loop. You want a sober Lindsay Lohan? Make her watch Herbie Fully Loaded 14 times in a row. You want Wesley Snipes to pay his taxes? Make him watch Money Train over and over with the Jennifer Lopez DVD commentary on full blast. You want Mel Gibson to act normal? Make him watch Lethal Weapon 4 in Hebrew while giving Woody Allen a neck massage.
don't go to rock concerts either anymore because I'm unsure of how I'm supposed to act when I'm there. I usually only listen to music when I'm cleaning, so I always feel this urge to start tidying up around the Staples Center. I guess I'm really just sick of paying good money for a seat and then having to stand in the same spot for the entire show. I mean, I think the only public event where you should have to stand is an execution. And that's because there's usually only one chair. I actually never want to have kids due to my family's history of mental illness, but I feel that if I did, I'd look forward to the PTA meetings the most because it would give me a chance to meet and greet everyone that lives in my immediate area that had unprotected sex a lot around the same year I did. Honestly, I don't even think they talk about school. I think they just high-five a lot and gloat about how fertile they all are while mocking the one or two poor families who were forced to adopt.
Christianity is strange to me for a couple different reasons. A few months ago, I went to my first baptism for a born-again friend of mine, which was like the most boring wet t-shirt contest ever. Secondly, I think it's real pretentious when people say they have a personal relationship with Jesus. You're not friends. You didn't get arrested for shoplifting together or figure skating partners. You can't text him. And if you really need to categorize your bond with Christ, why don't you just say you're in a long-distance relationship where you talk once a week and cheat on each other the rest of the time?
So my health insurance sucks. So the next time I have to go to the emergency room to get an x-ray, I'm just gonna go straight to an airport security checkpoint instead. I mean, basically, a strip search is a free prostate exam as is. But now with the advent of these x-ray machines, I mean, no weapons, no drugs. Awesome. Did you see any polyps while you were in there?
I hate living in Los Angeles because all the tour buses rolling around make me feel like I'm on exhibit at the zoo. Never seen so many Asian people captivated by me eating an ice cream sandwich before.
I think we need to bring free shopping bags back to Los Angeles. Yeah. Nowadays, most places encourage you to bring your own burlap sack everywhere you go. Hey, guess what? The only sack of mine I'm bringing anywhere shrinks in cold water. I don't care about the environment. I'll get a bag even if I only get like a thing of Pringles, just so everyone knows I didn't steal it. Trust me, get the bag. It's awkward to not get a bag at Target and then go to the Best Buy next door holding a loose bottle of shampoo and a box of Imodium.
I actually live in West Hollywood now, which is tough because I've had to train my mind to immediately assume that any good-looking girl I meet is automatically a transvestite. Learned that one the hard way. Met what I thought was a girl once, turned out to be a he-she with the body of Heidi Klum and the voice and genitalia of Ving Rhames. Worst dentist appointment ever. Speaking of Angela Lansbury, so my roommate's black, which means I go to a lot of nightclubs, but clubs really sucked for me because the only experience I have with dancing is playing the video game Dance Dance Revolution. I guess I'm not alone in this. I mean, you can just imagine me going up to a club and being like, hey girl. Who wants to fuck me?
I have a friend who joined a cult, and it sucks because he's tried to recruit everyone except for me. Yeah. For legal reasons, I can't tell you the name of the cult, but I can give you a hint. It rhymes with Scientology. Yeah. They said I was too negative. Fuck them. Although they might have been on the nose with the whole negativity thing, lately I've been trying to channel my anger with things that
bother me through beat poetry. Right now, I'd like to perform for you my latest poem entitled Tears of Garbage. Silence, steady, kind of gassy. Homeless guys think I'm homeless because they're dressed like death. Stop and ask me where they can find meth. Amen. And Jewish. If I knew where the meth lab was, I'd build a pawn shop right across the street.
Also, walking around the streets of West Hollywood in the morning is a little weird because you can always tell which guys got lucky last night based on the fact they tend to walk like this. Hey, wouldn't it be great to be full-blown retarded for just one day? I mean, they're just so happy all the time. Plus the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. I'd have super strength. I could play with all my old toys again. And I finally have a valid excuse for not being gainfully employed.
Anyone out there have tattoos? Yeah. I always wanted to get one, but if I did, it would have to be something like my mom would never notice, like a scab or a Band-Aid. I actually think if you're going to get a tattoo, you should get it of something useful. For example, like the periodic tables, in case a chemical fire ever breaks out.
By the way, will you fuckers please stop going to the movies and clapping after the film's over? I don't care how loud you clap, the actors can't hear you. You're like clapping for the projectionists. Not to mention the fact that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter probably doesn't deserve a round of applause in the first place. And you guys do this when you're at home, like watching the Jersey Shore? Bravo, Snooki, bravo.
You know what else I think is fucking bullshit? Skiing. Honestly, how is it even considered a sport when the main thing pushing you down the hill is gravity? I mean, you go up a hill to go back down, so at 5 o'clock the skier is essentially where I am at the end of the day if I sleep in and eat Quiznos. Guys, a quick word of advice. If you ever plan on breaking up with your girlfriend, make sure you fuck her in the ass first. That way, no matter how many times she sleeps with your dad or steals your car, you could always be like, hey, I fucked you in the ass.
So, I hate Gina Davis. She borrowed $3 from me and never paid me back. So, get this. Here's the story. One day I was standing in line at Whole Foods, and in front of me is all 6 foot 8 inches of Gina Davis, gym clothes, checking out. She wasn't getting, like, a lot of food, but what she was getting was really pretentious, like avocados and cruelty-free cereal. So the cashier tells her that her total is $22.84, but Gina's only got a 20. So in full Thelma and Louise mode, she turns to me and says, "Do you know who I am?"
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it either. Now, I said, "Yes, of course I know who you are." And she's like, "Can I borrow $3? I have $3 in the car. I will totally pay you outside." So after I thought about it for a second, I figured, well, if you can't trust Gina Davis, then who can you trust? Turns out you can't trust Gina Davis. Later on, I go outside to go get my money, and Gina, like her career, is nowhere to be found. A lot of Gina Davis fans on this. So after I walk around the parking lot for a bit, I run into one of those environmental survey guys and ask him, I go, "Have you seen an overly large redhead who's kind of up her own ass?" And he's like, "Oh, Gina Davis. She left on her bike 5 minutes ago." Gina Davis boned me out of $. And And this is on top of the $6 that I already feel she owes me for sitting through Cutthroat Island.